situation that we sometimes confront. But when we're in it, it seems so long. It seems so long. And it is important to understand that God, when his people is oppressed, when his people are tormented, it's like a dagger in God's heart. Because God do not like us to go through suffering. I really feel that it hurts God's heart when we go through suffering. But Israel is an example of disobedience, unfortunately, that God had to allow calamity and allow them to be captive over and over again. And many today are captive in their own sin. They sin willingly against God, but they become captive in their own sin. And so, how God relates to Israel is kind of like a pattern of how God deals with us. And so, accept when God disciplines. It's one thing to fall out of the will of God and let things just be as they are and come as they may, but because God will allow things to happen in our lives because of disobedience. But when God himself do it, it's even worse. It's even worse. So he allows certain things to come in our lives, but sometimes he does certain things because of disobedience. And so, Israel was always in this type of situation where they're always looking for a deliverer. And so when Ehud came, you would think that it would not be a surprise that God brought a deliverer, and this is a deliverer that was familiar to them. They always was seeking a Messiah. But can you imagine seeking for a deliverer, and the deliverer is right in your midst? That means you're not looking up to God. You're not looking up to God. Because a lot of times Israel could not see the deliverer. And guess what? Today, they still looking. Today, they are still looking for a deliverer. And Jesus, the Messiah, has physically came and gone, and they still looking. Can you imagine the blessing, all the blessings that they missed out on, and all the calamity they still going through? And it has not gotten the worse for them yet, because when Third World War come, they will be in the midst of this. Everything is setting up right now before our eyes. And Israel is going to somehow be in the midst of this war because they are still looking for a deliverer. Do you think they're going to cry out to God again? I think so.